Let's take a look at prepositions. Who, you said? Well, prepositions. Say it with me. Prepositions. What is a preposition? Let's see if we can answer that question by completing the sentences below. Bill is going blank the store. Well, you would say Bill is going, hopefully you would say Bill is going to the store. Larry is blank in the kitchen. How would you complete that sentence? I would say Larry is in the kitchen. The mouse ran blank the store. Or we can do any number of words here, right? We could say the mouse ran through the store, the mouse ran out of the store, the mouse ran in the store, the mouse ran around the store. But again, we complete it with this little word that we'll find out is called a preposition. The cat jumped blank the table. Again, on the table, over the table. Jamie walked the wall. Jamie walked into the wall. Now, if Jamie's Spider-Man, we could say Jamie walked across the wall, but I don't think that happened. Chris pushed his shoulder blank the door, but it didn't open. We might say Chris pushed his shoulder against the door. It's not too far. It's just blank the corner. It's just what? Around the corner. Stop yelling blank me. Stop yelling what? At me. He ran as fast as he could because the lion was right where? Near him, or right behind him, snapping at his heels. Please come, blank me. I don't want to go home alone. How would you complete that? Right. Please come with me. He jumped 6 feet blank the ground when he found out that he was not going to be buried 6 feet blank the ground. We would say he jumped 6 feet off the ground when he found that he was not going to be buried 6 feet under the ground. You see, these are prepositions. Let's complete the sentences together. Bill is going to the store. Larry's in the kitchen. The mouse ran through the store. The cat jumped over the table. Jamie walked into the wall. Chris pushed his shoulder against the door. It's not too far. It's just around the corner. Stop yelling at me. He ran as fast as he could because the lion was right behind him, snapping at his heels. Please come with me. I don't want to go home alone. He jumped 6 feet above the ground when he found that he was not going to be buried 6 feet under the ground. If you used any of the bold printed words to complete your sentences, then you used prepositions. And I bet that you've used these words and many others like them hundreds of times. I also know that every time you used one of these words, you also used a noun with it. Try to say something that makes sense with any of the prepositions, and you'll find that you always end up using a noun with that preposition. Try it now. Look at the sentences that we've just completed. What do you notice about each of the groups of words that are in bold print in the sentences? Take a look at them again. What do you notice about these words? To the store, in the kitchen, through the store, over the table, into the wall, against the door, around the corner, at me, behind him, with me, above the ground, under the ground. What did you notice? Did you notice that each of them begins with a word from the list below, a preposition, and ends with a noun or pronoun? Take a look at our list. About, above, across, after, against, along, down, during. These are all prepositions. Look at all of these prepositions: on top of, over, past, under, until, without. These are all what? Prepositions. Let's go back. We saw this group of words: to the store, in the kitchen, through the store. And we noticed that they all began with a preposition like to and ended with a noun like store. In, kitchen, through, store. Preposition, noun. Now, do any of these groups of words have subjects or verbs? No, they don't. And that's why we call them what? Phrases. A phrase is a group of words that without a subject or a verb. So now we can define a preposition. But first I want to make sure you understand what a phrase is. Once again, a phrase is a group of words without a subject or a verb. I can't say that enough times. A phrase is a group of words without a subject or a verb, and we will see that phrases will play very important roles in our discussion of the parts of speech and how to use them to decode and to construct sentences. But now we can define a preposition. A preposition is a word that begins a phrase which ends with a noun or pronoun and acts as a verb, as an adverb or adjective. We call those phrases prepositional phrases. So, a preposition is a word that begins a phrase which ends with a noun or pronoun and acts as an adverb or adjective. It begins a phrase which ends with a noun or pronoun and acts as an adverb or adjective. And we can call those phrases prepositional phrases. Now, as we will see shortly, adverbs, as we've seen before actually, adverbs are words or group of words that give us more information about verbs, and adjectives are words or group of words that give us more information about nouns. And so a phrase can act like an adverb, or a phrase can act like an adjective. Now let's review the prepositional phrases that you created at the beginning of this lesson. What questions are these prepositional phrases answering? For example, the cat jumped over the table. Jumped where? Answer, over the table. Prepositional phrases can answer verb when or verb why. And once again, let's take a look at this list of prepositions. About, above, across, after, along, among, around, at, before. Oh my goodness, look at all of these incredible prepositions. What's the summary and review? Let's check your list of prepositions and memorize as many of them as you can. Why is it so important? Because prepositions often play a very important role in the relationships among words in a sentence. If you see a preposition, try to match it with a noun or pronoun. Nouns, pronouns, and prepositions are natural friends. They are so close that you'll never see a preposition without a noun or a pronoun standing somewhere next to it. Here's an example. Into the wall. Into is the preposition and wall is the noun. This preposition-noun connection is called a prepositional phrase. Why? Well, a phrase is a group of related words without a subject or a verb. The group of words into the wall has no subject or verb. These words are not trying to say anything by themselves. They are just waiting to be picked up by another group of words that have a subject and a verb. So any phrase that begins with a preposition and ends with a noun and a pronoun is called a prepositional phrase. Now, why do you need to know about prepositional phrases? Here's why. Whenever you are trying to put sentences together, or whenever you are trying to find the subject of a sentence, please remember that the subject noun, or what is called the simple subject of a sentence, will never be found in a prepositional phrase. The subject noun, the simple subject, is the noun that determines whether the main verb or simple predicate will be singular or plural. That noun or pronoun that ends the prepositional phrase can never be the subject noun or the main noun of the sentence. This little rule will help you to find the subject noun because you know that the simple subject can never be part of a prepositional phrase. Also, please remember that an entire prepositional phrase can play the part of an adjective or an adverb in a sentence. Prepositional phrases can actually describe nouns or verbs. Wow, how cool is that? Hey, let me give you an example. Take a look at this sentence. At dinner time, everyone ate the hamburgers. Now the verb is ate, right? Let's ask some of the questions that adverbs answer. Ate when? Answer, at dinner time. So you see that the entire phrase at dinner time acts as an adverb because it describes the verb. It answers one of the questions that we can ask about the verb. But the prepositional phrase can also play the part of an adjective. Now the serpent was smarter than any beast of the field. Notice the prepositional phrase of the field. That phrase is functioning as an adjective because it is describing the word beast. That's the power of the preposition. So let's summarize what you've learned about prepositions.